Hey, welcome to Hashtag with Chiwanuka. This is a place where we help you unravel social constructs, discuss self-development in line with mental health, and everything in between that directly or indirectly affects us in the millennial world around us. My goal is to create a virtual platform for you and I to explore and engage in pertinent conversations society is silent about. What you get from this is without a doubt a chance for you to have moments of self-assessment so that you can ably jump into your next best season. I am your host, Chiwanuka, a lawyer, founder, team lead of Equate Foundation, an addict and lover of insightful conversations, and a professional unraveler of social constructs. If you're hearing my voice for the first time and are the kind of person who is not scared of being a better version of yourself, even if it requires you to contradict who you were 24 hours ago, I'm here to tell you that you made the right choice to come to this podcast, not podcast. That was a mistake. You made the right choice to come here to this podcast because here we keep unraveling the true version of ourselves to reveal the best version of ourselves that society needs. Did that make sense? I hope it did. To the return subscriber, well, May is here. You give me permission to keep coming back, and I hope that I'll forever keep serving you the kind of content that you need. Our guest today is the ever so vibrant content creator, Lisa Kusiima. She is a mother, wife, friend, daughter, a YouTuber, and an analyst at a leadership and management consulting firm. She is passionate about building strong families, and there couldn't be a better person for this episode, especially now that we're yet to celebrate. Guess what? What are we about to celebrate? Mother's Day! We are yet to celebrate Mother's Day, and I couldn't find a better person for this. She and I talked about her experience with motherhood, postpartum depression, and how she managed to cope with it. She also shared about how she found her purpose and how she keeps broadening her ways of executing it. In this Own Your Purpose episode, Kusiima talked about the importance of knowing why you've been put on earth, because that gives you direction. And guess what? I'm over asking you to guess stuff. Well, you found your direction to this podcast, and I cannot wait for you to hear all the gems that Lisa kept spilling. So let's get into it. Kusiima.
Yes.
Welcome to Hashtag with Chiwanuka.
Happy to be here.
You are?
Yes.
Tell us about your happiness.
Being on a podcast, it's exciting. So
is it?
Yeah. I do video and all. I want to experiment and see how just
what's it like
is.
for only audio? Well, it's easier. It's easier than
because no one is seeing you.
No one.
But I'm very
that her lips changed in this.
But I'm very animated, so I feel like will the things come out? You know, because they're missing my hands moving.
Oh, you're very much expressional and with your hands and gesturing. It's going to come out. Your voice is great enough for it.
I hope.
So tell us about Lisa Kusiima.
Yes, Lisa. Yeah, my name is Lisa Kusiima Mugisa.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Mugisa is my husband.
Sometimes I forget with the married friends, like, wait, you had a third name? I'm like, oh, wait, there's someone else.
Yeah, so been married for 4 years.
Yeah.
And going strong with 2 children, Rain, Sapphire, Mugisa, and King, Emerald, Mugisa. Yeah, so that's my family. I'm a YouTuber. I'm many things.
Right.
I'm a YouTuber, I'm an analyst.
Okay.
So that's really me.
When you speak about an analyst, because at least I understand YouTuber. When you speak about an analyst, are you looking at yourself as a societal analyst, or what kind of space do you analyze?
So I work at a leadership and management consulting firm.
Yeah.
So what we do is we want to see thriving organizations. So we support organizations to build their capacity to help them grow. Really.
Yeah.
So for me personally, I work in the organizational effectiveness capability.
Yeah.
And in there, we're looking at things to do with strategy, governance, risk management, and things like that. So that's where the analyst comes in.
I think that's something people barely know.
Yeah.
Because I'm equally shocked, like, hey, hey.
yeah. So yeah, that's what I do.
Okay, and then we get to talk about the YouTube vlog, Lisa Kusiima. How did you get to this space? Oh, before we even get there, before we get there, because you're talking about yourself as an analyst and a YouTuber. Those are two types. No, you're a mother, friend.
Mother, wife.
Wife. Those are all hats you're wearing.
Yes.
What did you want to be while growing up?
Oh my God, so many things.
Yeah.
I once wanted to be a pilot.
How old was that?
I think when I was like about 10. I think, around there. And then I wanted to be a lawyer.
How long did that dream survive?
I don't think it lasted. I don't really remember. I don't think it really lasted. But then I wanted to be a lawyer at some point. But then when I saw the things lawyers have to go through, the books they have to read, I was like...
When was that?
I think, in high school, when you hear about lawyers, it seems all, this is something I can do. And I love to talk, so I thought, lawyers are always talking.
I didn't even care about them. That's surprising.
Me, it was always at the back of my mind. I thought, this is something that I can do. Yeah, but then
and you're a leader already, man.
Yeah.
Need to know that you're my OG. She's my OG.
Send yourselves in some. But yeah, so that also just, I think, fell out the window. I don't know how, but... And then I reached not choosing combinations and things like that. My mom was working at a certain organization, and there were pharmacists that used to come in, and she was like, I think you can be a pharmacist. They're making good money. They look nice.
And they do make money anyway.
Yeah, and wow. And I love biology. So I was like, hey, let me try and give it a go. I think I want to be a pharmacist. Alas, you needed chemistry. And my, I was
Chemistry is such a major enemy. I don't know what's up with it.
Yeah,
I loved it, but it failed to love me.
Same here. So I was very optimistic, but so I was like, pharmacy, what? Oh my God, things did not work out. I only passed biology and I couldn't do pharmacy. So that quickly shifted.
Yeah.
And then, I went into arts. And I shined in arts.
You shined.
I shined.
What was it like shifting from that dream that you wanted and then getting into the arts? Weren't you like, what is here?
Okay, the kind of person I am, I believe certain things happen for a reason. So I didn't get here because I think it was not I think it wasn't my dream. So the fact that it didn't work out didn't really crush my spirit. I think it crushes you when it's something you really, really want, and then you
something that you only know. That's what happened to me because I knew perfectly well while growing up. I mean, I was in the science community. I'm seeing doctors, I'm seeing nurses. Those are the only people I knew. So I knew very well that I was supposed to be a doctor. I had already chosen my specialization. And then they tell me, you can't do science. And I'm like, what? What do people in arts do? But I was like, okay, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so, things happen for a reason. I believe. Yeah, so then I did arts. I shined. I went to campus. I did business administration. Yeah. But then I realized that God was preparing me for where He wanted me to be. Because if I had done pharmacy...
So while we're doing business, when you went to campus and did business and studied business administration, did you have a particular kind of field you wanted to get yourself into? Because I don't know now. I've just come to think about it. Because I feel like business administration is a wide thing.
Yeah.
When you're in law school, you're going to be a lawyer. When you're in procurement... You're what, a procurement officer?
Yeah.
Human resource, you're going to be a human. So BA.
So that's the thing about business administration is that people will tell you do business administration because it's wider. you can be anything, you know. So in case this doesn't work, you can do this, you can do this. So there's nothing particular I was looking at, honestly. It was just to do business administration and then see where that takes me.
All through campus,
all through campus, I really didn't know where I was going. That's the truth.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, so...
No wonder you're doing risk management.
My friend, you have to just
because you've taken risks.
Yeah, because when you do HR and then that's it.
Yeah, you know what you're going to do. I had never sat down to think about how wide or broad BA is until now. There's nothing specific.
There's nothing. But you see that for me, I think that's a good thing because it opens up possibilities.
Yeah.
When you do one thing and then that's the only thing you have to do, and then you realize, no, maybe that's not what I want to do, and then wrong course, it's too late. But you see, business administration, you can even do HR, you can do all this. And things like that. So that's
great. And then now we go back to the YouTuber question. What inspired you? I mean, YouTube was like for those guys, Kim's, right? Or to me, trust me, it was things for the Muzungu.
Yeah.
So to find that there are Ugandans doing like, hey, okay, and then you get to, before you know it, you're seeing people that you know in there, they're shining, like you're always shining. You're seeing people shining. How did you get to this space? How did you feel? How did you get to a moment of saying, I can actually be a vlogger?
Okay, so for me, it was about, personally, I've always been a person that enjoys being in the limelight, I must say.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so...
But then you don't look like you look for it.
Some
you have your ways, eh?
Some people may actually say, yes, I see her, and But okay, so last year, I discovered my purpose.
Last year
I discovered my purpose, and I realized part of my purpose was to build strong families. And when I discovered my purpose, you have to go deep down and understand how. Okay, now you know the why, that's the purpose, but how are you going to make this all play out?
How are you going to execute the
and
purpose?
Then what? And all these things. So I needed a platform that I was going to use to help build strong families. I wanted to make impact. And one of the biggest places to do that is YouTube, because it's worldwide, like everyone is there, everyone is seeing you. So I thought, and I'd always had these thoughts of when I was a mother, maybe first time mother, I kept saying, oh my God, people need to know this. One day I'll open a YouTube channel, just in jokes and tricks,
Yeah.
But then when I discovered my purpose, it just kind of sealed everything. I'm like, yes, YouTube is the starting point. I want to start here. And then I released my first video. It was just a joke around home here with my son. I was trying to make him a paper aeroplane, and then somehow something was funny. I'm like, let me upload this. Actually, I started the channel. I opened a channel in March last year.
Was that before the lockdown or during the lockdown?
Just slightly before the lockdown. Just like, because that's when I discovered my purpose. I'm like, yes, I had it in my notebook. I'm like, yes, how will I do this stronger families? One of the things, YouTube. I opened the channel. I didn't even know where I was going to start, how. I didn't even know nothing about. The only thing I knew about YouTube was Ann Kansime's videos. Like, I used to go on to just laugh. So I knew YouTube from the audience's perspective. I didn't know it, of course, from a creator's perspective. So I had a lot of learning to do, but in March I just opened the channel.
And you were ready to see how it
I just
unfolds.
Left it there. I actually released the first video in July.
Fist bump. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
But this is something with the podcast. I knew I wanted to I really wanted to start a podcast. I knew I wanted to. I don't know if you saw me in school. I was jumping to everyone. I could start a conversation with anyone. So I knew I wanted to have a bigger platform to foster some of these conversations I've been having on the background. So I was like, what is this thing I'm jumping into? I got the software, right? But I kept it there because I think I downloaded that in July.
That's 2019. I kept looking at it. I was like, what is this? I actually did the first trial with just me saying nothing. And I sent it to a friend and he was like, I like whatever this you're doing, I like it. I was like, what is this I'm doing? I was like, yes, I talk to people, but then how do I start talking with myself and alone? Then towards the end of 2020, I took a trip to Kabali with myself, like to just wash down the year. And then while there, I was like, there are things I've wanted to do. Podcasting is one of them. And I'm sitting on this. So when am I going to start?
Yeah.
I recorded my first episode from Kabali. I was like, let me just jump into it. And that's when I'm going to get a start. So when you talk about yourself much and you're like, I feel you so much. I feel you. I understand you very well.
So just jumping in and saying, you know what?
Yeah.
Let me start. You know, because many times we wait to be prepared and ready.
You can't.
You can never be ready.
You can't.
You can never be ready.
You can never be ready enough.
Yeah.
Because as you said earlier in the, what is it called? What's that thing called? Behind the scenes?
Behind the scenes.
When we're having that, you're talking about how we are our biggest critiques.
Yes.
We can never be enough for ourselves.
True.
You just learn. I keep telling people learn on job. They keep saying, hey, when should I want to start a podcast, but then I don't have this. You have your phone. I started with just my phone. And then I was like, I'll figure it out from there. And then you learn on the job.
Yeah.
So when you talk about your very first video that you uploaded, do you say posted? Do you post?
Okay, uploaded.
Or do you upload?
Yeah, you upload.
Yes, for the very first video that you uploaded in July, what was it like? Weren't you scared that you had put yourself out there? Or how receptive was the audience?
So, honestly, when I felt like it was just a funny video and I didn't overthink.
Yeah.
That's the thing. If I knew what I know now, I wouldn't have posted it. Like, oh my God, it's not perfect. It's, you know, what's all this going on? So I didn't overthink it. So I didn't overthink it. So when I posted it, actually my husband was recording me and was helping me record. So yeah, it was interesting. We're like, let's post this. I was like, let me post this. Is it okay?
He already knew you wanted to have.
Yeah, at that point
YouTube.
We had talked just briefly. We're not really gone in depth because I didn't know what I was even going into. You get? So I posted it. It was funny. You know, people were sending me messages, laughing. First of all, I didn't even know how to publish it to be public.
You can
unlisted. Yeah, there are so many technicalities where you only send a link and only people who have the link can actually watch the video.
Okay.
So I remember my brother telling me, how come it's not showing in your videos, like in the channel?
Yeah.
I'm like, why? What do you mean? What am I going to do? Let me check it out. Like, I had no idea.
You must have panicked.
You know? Yeah, I was panicking. Like, oh my God, I'm going to miss.
So it was more like private.
It was.
I think you had to make it public.
Yes, it was. Okay. For YouTube, there is public, there is unlisted, there is private, and then there is
What does unlisted mean?
Unlisted means is the people that you send the link are the only ones that can view.
Okay.
Private, no one can view it. It's only
for yourself.
For yourself. Yeah, things like that. So,
right.
Yeah, but guys were laughing, saying, "Oh my God, this is funny," because I was trying to make the aeroplane. I was trying to show people how, but King kept coming into the frame.
Yeah.
And he was like failing me. He was just not allowing me to prosper. So that's how the first video went. I was happy about it then, but when I look at it now, I'm like, I want to delete it. I'm like, no, I want to see where I've come from.
Thank you.
Sometimes when you reach somewhere, you feel like I'm not doing much, but when you look back, you're like, look at where I've come from. So
you get to allow yourself to grow.
Exactly.
Allow yourself to make the mistakes, and it's from those mistakes that we get to learn.
Exactly.
So YouTube knows you as a stay-home mother. You have just shocked me here. But I think that's something that you can do remotely, your kind of work.
Yeah, so I've actually mentioned on the channel before about my work-life harmony. And again, when I discovered my purpose, and I knew I needed to stay home more.
Yeah.
Because I'd just given birth. My daughter was about 2 months. Yeah, and I had to approach my boss and tell him I need to take some time off and step back a bit to, first be with the children and nurture them and all these things. But again, because my purpose again was also tied to my work.
Yeah.
I wanted to stay at work. Because it's a leadership and management firm, and part of my purpose was to lead and inspire women.
Yeah.
So I just asked to take some time off, work only 2 days in a week.
Okay.
And then the other days I'd be home.
So it was more like a restructuring.
Kind of restructuring of the arrangement.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what happened actually. So, and then around that time when actually the decision was made, COVID hit.
Soft landing.
So COVID hit after I'd actually talked to my boss. I think like a week before or something.
They should have asked you, how did you know what's coming? How did you know what's coming?
Yeah, I was so lucky, you know. So we have been home ever since. Like,
yeah,
we've all been working from home.
The whole company.
And then for me, I've been doing 2 days a week. So
2 days a week, that's still even when you're doing work remotely?
Yes. Yeah. So that's why, I'm able even to do YouTube, but that's also why people know me as stay home, because I'm mainly at home.
Yeah, and you also introduced yourself as such.
Really?
Yes. Okay, maybe I misunderstood it when you had your sister-in-law. When you had your sister-in-law. Yeah. And I think I got to perceive it as such. Or maybe there was a video before, I don't know.
It was that video, but I kept on explaining, releasing some information here and there after. Yeah, but again, I think I was listening to a certain audio and they're talking about LeBron James and saying people need to know you first for something, for one thing, before they know you for many things. So everyone knows LeBron James as basketball,
yeah.
But then after people know you as such, then you can begin to release even more. Now he's a philanthropist, he does school, he does all these other things. But you don't want to confuse people at the beginning. I'm this. Hey, even this. I'm like, so where are you? So where do you fall?
Yeah.
So just releasing a few things here and there. Yeah, where need arises.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you talk about the moment when you asked your boss to give you some days off. In a generation, I would say, in a generation whereby women are kicking ass, right? They want to prove that they can balance everything. I can do the mothering. I can run my business. I can run my job or do the wifing. And then here you are, you're like, you know what? No.
Yeah. I get that, and I've always been that kind of woman.
What kind of woman is that?
I want to lead. I want to kick ass. I want to be on boards. I want to be in management. Wow. But then, when I discovered my purpose, I realized I can be all that.
Yeah.
But not at the same time.
Not at the same time.
The moment I push my career, my family is going to lose a certain aspect of me.
Yeah.
And that's a fact. That's a fact. So I need to weigh. I need to weigh and say what's more important right now. When the children are growing up, they need me most.
Yeah.
I was listening to a certain show and someone was saying when you're doing recruitment, you're looking for the best person for the job. The best person for the job.
Yeah.
And who is the best person to look after your children? If you are recruiting? It's the mother. It's both parents, but one has to give. So it's the mother. But then the mother can get a team. Even the HR manager does not run the farm alone.
Yeah.
She has an HR officer, she has an HR assistant and things like that. So, but I need to be the HR manager. So I realized the home needed me more. And I have told, I think, a few people, when I was working full time, you wake up early, you go to work, you come back.
That's like waking up at 5.
Okay, my work is near, so not 5, not so much 5, but still, you're waking up early. And the kids are still asleep. So you come back. My children, sleep at about 8. So you're coming back at about 6:30, you know, the jam and things like that. Then you have like 1.5 hours only you know, to be with them. And that's not enough time. So weekends, you have bridal parties.
That's about 9 hours in a week with the kids.
With your child. It's just not enough. And I realized, no, I needed to step back. Like, career can wait. That's the truth. Career can wait. For me, anyway.
Yeah.
Knowing my purpose. Again, it's very important to know why you've been put on earth. Because that gives you direction. I keep saying purpose gives you direction. It helps you make the decisions. Because the only way I could have made that the decision is if I knew why I was here. And I thank God that the timing was right. That when I got to know why, I was like, yeah, this needs to be done. And God actually enables things to work in your way when COVID, even asking and my boss allowed, because not many people will allow you to do that.
Like,
who is going to, what?
Disrespect.
First go home. Yeah, I think you need some time, you know. So just allowing me, and I will never, I don't take it for granted, you know. Just allowing me that. And it may not last. I don't know. I don't know how long it will last, but just allowing me, it's been now over a year, to just figure things out. Now I can make even better decisions now. Knowing what I've gone through, how God has pulled me and even put me in this position to start the channel and to inspire people.
And you're doing great.
Thank you.
For less, allow me to say less than a year, because you know, you opened and just take, for less than a year you are babe.
Thank you.
You're doing. I don't know where to start. There is that recent. I think you just did a new intro video, and it was just like, this.
No, hey, what?
Yeah, I was like, you guys, this is too good. Like, it feels like someone that has been in this for a very long time, or you can actually get to feel someone's vibe when they're doing something that they love.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, you are called for this. Like, so much simplicity that comes with you doing these things.
Yeah. That's when you realized, yes, this is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
When things line up, when I talk about how I even started, I released that first video, and then my sister-in-law told me, because she watches a lot of YouTube, so have you seen how this one does this? I'm like, what's that? I didn't even know what a tripod was. I was like, what? A tripod? I said, you need to get a tripod, because that first video was a bit shaky, because my husband was holding it. And she told me, get a tripod. I'm like, what's a tripod? Like, I was so off. I didn't know, you know? And then I did some research, and then around that time, I was on YouTube, and I saw a free YouTube course. YouTube challenge, actually, by Think Media.
Yeah.
They have over 1 million subscribers. They help people learn about digital things. So I took it on, and I even won a prize.
Oh.
Yeah, I won a prize, and like
the way how you want to shine. You had to win.
I'm a winner. I always want to win. Yeah. But then I won. I'm like, oh my God, out of so many people in that challenge, like worldwide, by the way, not Uganda. No. And then I got to win a day. I won a day, and I got free courses about learning how to build your brand, about YouTube, about things I would have never, like how to start YouTube right.
That's huge.
That is something I wouldn't even be here. I would have started off wrong doing that, but they just gave me direction, and you stick with that, and you see that you will actually thrive.
So you had that during the lockdown.
Yeah, now that was during lockdown.
That must have really made it easier for you to pursue the challenge.
Yeah, the challenge was, I was, actually, around that time, I was actually I had postpartum depression, actually. I had postpartum depression, but I knew what I wanted.
In July? Past July?
We need
to talk about that. We need to talk about that.
When I gave birth, first of all, you would think that after because I had a son. Yeah. So he was like, I was ready.
As a first-time mother, did you ever have it?
No.
Did you get it?
I didn't. And that's
so what do you think made it different?
Children are different. Like,
pregnancies are different.
Postpartum is after you've given birth.
Exactly.
So
the side effects of it.
My son is calm. He's a calm child. He takes more of his father's character.
Yeah.
He's obedient. Naturally, like, I don't have to do much. And then I gave birth to my daughter.
Your replica.
And she was, wow. I was like, she didn't want to sleep. She would refuse to sleep. She had sleep issues. She got colic. I didn't have experience with colic because my son didn't get it.
Whoa.
It was overwhelming. I was so sleep deprived. Oh my God. I talked about this on the channel as well. Like, I remember a time I would cry. I had bad thoughts about my child. I didn't feel like I loved her. I felt like, what is going on? I remember I told God, your gifts are supposed to be, bring no sorrow. Bring no sorrow. Is this really a gift from you?
Oh my God.
I recited all the verses I knew in the Bible.
Yeah.
And I would be at night holding her and I would be crying.
Yeah.
But still I managed to do, I still, pushed, and I was able to do all that and try to discover who I was. And it took time, but I finally figured it out. But I was struggling.
Because what's confusing, I imagine that postpartum depression happened a few months after giving birth. But then when you talk about it as going as far as past July, that's like past her being 6 months.
Yeah, it can even go up to a year.
There is a lady. She's a great writer in Kenya. Her name is Wanja Kavenji. She's really funny when she gets to write.
I think I've seen her on Facebook.
Wanja is so funny.
Yeah.
She has failed to love. Yeah. Last year she confessed that she had failed to love her child.
I saw that post.
And people were dragging her. But I was like, I went there in the comments and I was like, you guys, it's a step when someone acknowledges that they have a deficit. Yeah. It's a step to healing. For you guys to come out here and drag her that she's a bad mother, that she could have aborted or given the child up for adoption. Social media is rough.
Yeah.
Social media, you have to be glossy. You're not supposed to come out with your insecurities.
Exactly.
You're not supposed to come out with your glitches. No.
Yeah.
Those things are invalidated. On social media, you're supposed to be glossy.
Perfect. Yeah.
You're supposed to be perfect. So I was like, many of you actually are the same. But because you mask it, you don't want someone else to come out. You want everyone else to mask. Because we're in a generation whereby everything has to be masked. You put on makeup to cover all the blemishes.
Yeah.
So you don't just, they get to a space of not allowing every other person to experience life naturally.
Yeah.
So when for her, she was like, I thought postpartum is supposed to be immediately after giving birth, but it's now, how many years? How old is the boy? More than 4 years, something of that kind.
Oh my God, that's low.
Because she was like, during lockdown, the boy felt some love from the grandparents. Yeah. And she feels like she
can't offer that.
She can't.
Wow. Oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
That's sad. It needs, you see, the issue is, in our society, depression has not been accepted. It's like, what? No, you're pretending, or maybe that's white man's disease or something. But people actually do get depressed, and they need help. They need help. Honestly, what helped me is, I would say, it's God. It's God. Like, I relied so much on the word of God.
When you're praying,
when I'd pray and recite the word, I used the word, and and my supportive spouse as well. Like, that's very important. Very important. Yeah,
it's very important because where we dismiss these things and then you find that even the person you're sharing the house with is dismissive.
Exactly.
That would be crazy.
I keep telling people, COVID saved me. That's the truth. Because you see, he has to work, so he has to live.
Yeah.
And my daughter, when she reached the 6-week mark, she refused anyone from holding her. My husband couldn't hold her. The help couldn't hold her. No one, like... She only allowed me. Now that put me in a state of, oh my God, you couldn't go to the loo without her crying. You can't eat properly. You can't. You get it? It's like I was a thief in my like I'm eating like, oh my God, she's about. You get it? So that really depressed me as well. But when lockdown happened, now my husband had to be home. Yeah, there was no way out. Yeah, and just the sense of having your partner or your best friend there with you. Yes, he can't hold, but at least he's present. Yeah. That alone just made things better. So for me, that really...
Because at least there is someone who empathizes
exactly. with you. He would look at me and find me crying, and somebody's like, are you crying? I'm like, just I'm crying. You know?
I'm like, no, please, I'm laughing.
Right? And then he would sometimes just sit with me and say, it's okay, it's going to be okay. He couldn't help.
you can't know how to help at some time.
Because she couldn't allow, she would cry, she would wail, you know.
And
so,
yet she couldn't let him hold her.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. You know, I was reading a book, like I think before I conceived my daughter, there was a book called Pregnancy God's Way, something like that.
Okay.
And there were so many different topics, but there was the part of depression that I missed. I'm like,
you dismissed, like,
I was like, never happened to me, it can't. I didn't even read about it. I was like, what?
Because we don't even embrace those kinds of conversations.
Exactly. When you've not been there, it's easy to judge. You know, what's the word? What we don't understand, we throw out. We're like, that's
trivial.
What's that? You know, and this happens even on social media. You say something, and because people don't understand it, they're like, no, rubbish.
Or because they didn't experience it, or they've never had
it, you know, and things like that. Or even fellow women, it would be like, she's lazy, she's pretending. Just because just because your experience was better doesn't mean that invalidate my own, traumatic. Yeah, so things like that. So it was tough, was the truth. But I overcame. And it's so funny that all this happened even in that period. The discovery, self-discovery, the starting the channel.
That was a whole revolution of yourself.
The losing weight, that everything happened in that time. So
you even sighed.
It was a whole lot going on.
There's a time when I was talking to a friend of mine, she's Kenyan, and she told me when you talk about your kid crying all the time, her husband, I think, did he have to leave the country in that period when she had just given birth? They got to a point whereby the daughter wasn't pooping. She was like, have you ever prayed for a child to poop?
Right? The easy thing, sometimes we take them for granted, but my God. Yeah.
So in this moment when you're praying, because prayer is prayer, and God are quite sensitive subjects. Because when we are Christians, we have this imagination that because we are God's children, we are entitled to good things, right? Just like how you were asking, I thought gifts are supposed to be, glossy and without challenges. Didn't you ever get to a point whereby, you know what, let me do my own thing, you failed to help?
There'll be just small moments of weakness of, I think you don't love me.
Yeah.
I think you don't love me, God, no. Because why would you allow me to go through this?
Yeah.
Sometimes when you're in so much pain, you're like, no, is this your will, Lord? Like, no.
Like, did I go that wrong? Like,
exactly. I must say they've been there. They were there, those moments. But I didn't let those moments take over because of the truth that I know, the truth that I believe.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You may fall, but you need to get back up, because you know who God is, you know who He is, and those moments, not to let them to overrun just a small situation. Yeah. So just going back to truth, the word. Every time I would get into those moments, I would go back to the word and recite it. I'm like, Lord, you know who I am. You have chosen me. Yes.
Yeah.
This is
so they're more like words of affirmation.
Exactly. And that's the thing, because sometimes I would be weak to even read my Bible. I would be weak. I'd be like, I'm not even feeling it. But thankfully, I had it already on my lips.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why scripture memory is very important. And again, like Jesus, when he was tempted by the devil, he didn't pull out anything. He had it already.
But he's divine, come on.
No, but still, he's giving us a real example of how life works, Yeah. You'll be in a situation, you will not be running.
You have to be armed all the time.
Exactly.
Ever ready for war.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Out of my lips. So, I implore guys to just, scripture memory is very important, because it's the sword. You will not be running to your Bible or to your phone to look for that verse. So anyway, that's what helped me in summary.
Like I usually tell people, what works for me may not really work for you, because even our levels of faith, some of us are on our journey. I can't really speak for, you've spoken for scripture memorization. Personally, I pick prayers from strange places. It could be from a song, it could be from a movie. So the very first prayer I've got for myself was, Jesus, take the wheel. From a song that came out when P7?
Yeah.
Was that she called Sister Winans? Or what? I don't know. It must be her. Sometimes when I'm in the very first time I started, I got to recite it, I think I was in a taxi, and this guy was driving recklessly. I was like, shit. Jesus, take the wheel. Like, both places, like, I cussed and then called up on the Lord. And every time he would swerve carelessly, I was like, Jesus, take the wheel. Me, I can't do anything about it. Even sometimes when I'm very anxious, maybe I'm walking into a building, I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, okay, I can't do this on my own. Take the wheel. So when you speak of scripture memorization, but I think it comes down to words of affirmation as well. Divine words of affirmation, to feel like, someone has got me.
Yeah, we all have, I don't know, people have different divine things they look to.
Yeah.
So for me, that's just mine.
Vlogging, back to it. I see you pushing your work.
I'm pushing so easy.
And people invalidating your topics.
Whoa. So, can we even just talk about that for a minute? You see, first of all, I don't even know where to start. You know, I never see these things coming. That's what you never.
You don't ever get to think about the criticism that may come along.
And then, because for me, I'm on this end, and because my intention is pure. My intention is pure. I'm putting it out there because I want someone there to get the help, or to feel encouraged, or to be inspired, or to relate, or you type out your thing.
It's for you to foster conversation.
Exactly, and build engagement, build a community that there's going to grow with you in this journey. So the first post that actually got a lot of, oh my God,
criticism,
was the one about the 4 lessons that me and my spouse had learned.
I saw it
and shared.
I saw that. That's why I was like,
and that's the thing, people are so bitter, and also people don't read. Angry. People don't read. I think people just pick out what they want to see.
They read a tithe of the words.
Exactly. Because I said, I'm sharing some of my lessons, 4 lessons in 4 years.
They don't want to hear those.
And that's, I didn't say I'm sharing all the lessons in marriage. I know all of them. But 4 lessons in 4 years, this could help someone there. Out there, a marriage, it could help a marriage out there. Because even when there are people who are criticizing you and saying all these things, there are people who are inboxing me saying, wow, that has helped me. I needed this. Oh, yes. I would get so many inboxes, and you'd be like, but now where have I gone wrong? Because now this one, actually, they are feeling what I'm feeling. Like, the reason why I put it out there is that. And then there are those who are not seeing. And then I realized all engagement is good engagement. Just put yourself out there. Like, there are some people who will not like you, and that's okay. But those are not the ones you're trying to reach.
That's not your target audience.
That's not your target audience. There are those who are being inspired. Focus on those.
Or maybe it's not yet time. Because what I've noticed you've really been consistent with social media. I commend you for that.
I learned that.
I see
YouTube
that
challenge.
Yeah, I see you and I'm like, because now for me with the groups, I'm not. I can be too much work on myself because I'm overly busy on my account, and then I have to jump. No. But then I've seen when people oversee your work, they're like, okay, you never know.
So many friend requests. Oh my God,
man, those.
So many friend requests. But you see, you're inspiring someone out there. Someone is feeling like, I need to relate with this person more. And you see, the more negative criticism you get, it shows there's something good you're doing. Because no one is going to criticize something that is is fake. Like,
they'll trash it.
They will not even, look at it. So if there is something there, it's bound to get both good and negative criticism. So when that happened, at first I was shocked, like I didn't expect it. I was like, what? Because again, I did it with a pure heart. Like I really didn't anticipate, that kind of backlash. So I kept going through the comments. I was like, I will not be bullied. I kept responding. I was like, no. I said 4 lessons in 4 years. When I reach 10 years, I will give my 10 lessons, And oh my God. And when my husband came back, it's like, I don't know if anyone may call you, but I just want to tell you what's going down.
Yeah.
People on my case and things like that. And then that ended. But you see, that also boosted my video. Because people kept saying,
I felt like there was more traction.
What is that, video they're talking about? Let me go watch it.
Yeah.
And you see, when you watch,
so
you get
simple.
context. You'll be like, oh, this is not, oh, yeah.
They're not even saying that you should do this. This is someone
my lessons. You get, and everyone has lessons, and that's the thing that is killing, what they call it, people's potential. 2 things that are killing people's potential. 1, imposter syndrome. 2, the curse of knowledge. And
the curse of
knowledge. Now, let me
tell us about that. Because at least I think I've talked about imposter syndrome quite often, but then I need to understand that. The curse of knowledge
is, you see, because I'm 4 years in marriage.
Yeah.
And I know, my 4 years, I know I have experience in that.
Yeah.
You feel like there's nothing. Because for you, it comes easy. It comes easy. So you have this knowledge and it seems obvious.
Yeah.
So you feel like you have nothing to share because everyone knows this.
Yeah.
But no. The curse of knowledge is making you feel like everyone knows this, but that's not it. So you're all up in your head thinking, I have nothing to add. Because you've gone through it, you feel like it's obvious.
Or maybe
knows it. So why should I even be saying anything?
Yeah.
And then you forget the 1-year-old in marriage who needs
1 month.
1 month, 1 day.
Man, I've seen people not going beyond a month, and it's scary.
Exactly,
like,
that's the thing.
What?
You get. So if everyone is feeling like, communication, that's obvious.
People don't. People don't even know how to communicate.
Exactly, how. So when I look back, I always ask myself, what questions did I ask when I was 1 year in marriage? Someone else.
What you asked yourself.
Them, that person answer those questions. It's easier for me now because I've gone through it.
Yeah.
But for the other person, it's not obvious. And that's the thing. For some things I go through in my marriage, I think this is basic information. Why don't you know that you need to communicate? You get it? And that's the cause of knowledge.
Backgrounds are different.
That's the thing. So I will not give up. I will keep posting.
We need you.
I will keep posting. People will keep abusing me. Some will keep abusing me, but there are those who keep.
But I think they've given up. Are they still doing it?
What?
Or maybe
you didn't see the recent post?
I didn't see the comments. Maybe.
You didn't? Oh my!
Maybe I just stopped on the content itself, and I was like,
oh my God! So this one, I think,
like it can be really annoying. No, you know what? I think now you have to get into a space of let me just annoy them.
My papa's
because I think
annoy.
No, wait.
If you get annoyed with my post, I'm sorry. Like I didn't mean to. But so the recent one was about.
I think when I saw I'm the kind of person who really chooses how to engage on social media because it's
too much.
Toxic.
Exactly.
Toxic. And then before you know it, you've slept angry because you're exchanging with people that you don't even know.
You don't know them. They don't even matter. They're not putting anything, and then you're angry. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. But sometimes I feel like I need to engage with some, not all, with some, because I need to speak truth that I believe.
Speak truth.
Speak truth.
Yeah.
Because for the recent post, when I was talking about my postpartum body changes. And I was talking about my vaginal tears that happened to me 1 week after I gave birth. Yeah. And I had fears. And I mentioned I had some fears, and some of them included wondering if my husband would find me attractive. Wondering if I would be attractive. Would he love me? And I know fear is self-inflicted. I did not say my husband was not finding me attractive. And people don't know how to read. I said I had fears. You get? And that's the thing, people forget that we're human. I didn't say I was not confident. I'm very confident woman. Yeah. But I have fears, and I shared some fears.
We're human.
And then, I got all this backlash, people saying, why are your fears about men?
Oh, heck.
Even if you have...
Oh, my goodness. There's someone I'm relating with. And this is a marriage that I'm working on. No,
and it's okay for me to desire to please my husband, and that's me, because that's me. You get, and they all made it about
very many angry women.
Exactly, because maybe their relations are not working out.
Yeah.
And then some even beginning to say, you just wait, he's going to cheat on you. And you're like,
oh my goodness.
What? I was talking about my body changes. I don't know why it all turned out to be. And things like that. And yet I was even getting people in my inbox asking me,
so angry.
oh my God, how did they heal? How did you go about it? I went through the same. You get, so just choosing, what moves you. So for me, as long as I've inspired one or two people, that is one or two people better. And that is why I was put on earth.
One by one.
And that's what moves me.
Makes a band.
Exactly. So, wow, it happens. But yeah, we move. Regardless, we move.
I've not yet gotten backlash, I think.
You have not yet? Post on a group.
Why? But thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, thank you for
gracing us with the knowledge.
Curse
of knowledge.
Yes.
That's a new one for me. I need to read about it and understand it.
Yeah.
So for the people that want to relate with you, the kind of work that you give out, how do they get you on social media?
My social media handle is Lisa Kusiima on Facebook, Lisa Kusiima on Instagram, Lisa Kusiima on YouTube, Lisa Kusiima
everywhere.
On TikTok, everywhere, Lisa Kusiima.
So man, TikTok. But you guys, the way how you do your TikTok, some people make it, like, there was a way how you came out doing that thing. I was like, I was like, okay.
My friend.
I think it's easy for people that know how to slay. For me, personally, I'm like, I can't manage. It's a lot of work.
See, sometimes you have to go where your audience is. Your target audience, your target markets. You have to go for your target markets.
TikTok has to find me, man. It's going to find me. I can't manage. There's a lot of work involved there. Like,
content creation is a lot of work. That's the truth. And that's the thing people don't realize. They see a 2-minute video and they're like, it didn't take 2 minutes.
It takes 20 minutes to make.
Scripting, lighting, outfit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I can't thank you enough. I hope. Do you have a particular message that you would leave listeners, especially related to motherhood, marriage? Yeah.
I think the one thing I can tell people is just be willing to learn.
Be willing to learn.
Have a heart that wants to learn.
Yeah.
That wants to change. Don't be stuck in being who you were last year. Change. Read a book. Be better.
Yeah.
Seek counsel. You can't be the same. And it cuts across in everything. Is it career? Is it motherhood? Is it marriage? Seek to learn.
Everywhere.
And be better. That's my tip for the day.
Light bulb moment. We should have asked for a light bulb moment.
Yeah, next time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you too.
Be willing to learn. Have a heart that wants to change. Don't be stuck to who you were last year. Have a heart that wants to learn. Be better. Seek to learn. Hi. Lisa is just an embodiment of this podcast theme. Be better. In summary, be better. Be better. Better. Be better. I'm trying. Maybe I keep saying this about almost all the other guests. And you can't blame me, man. You can't blame me, because these people are out here doing whatever it takes for them to cultivate the ground so that a new seed can grow in society. This conversation was like a masterclass, because in it, we are reminded that if you own your purpose, weathering the storms and tides that may come your way is a major requirement. Let me repeat that. If you own your purpose, weathering the storms and the tides that may come your way is a major requirement. I mean, I saw Lisa being dragged unnecessarily on social media, but none of that swayed her from her pursuit. Thank you so much for tuning in into another episode of Hashtag with Nabgozi Chwanuka. If you loved what you heard, make sure you subscribe to Hashtag with Navigozi Chiwanuka in your podcast platform of choice, and make sure that you share this episode and the whole podcast maybe to your friends. Tell them that this is where what is happening here. This is where growth happens. This is where change happens. This is where all of us are supposed to camp, right? Let go out there. Like when they say in church, go tell it on the mountain. I'm going to buy you guys megaphones. You need to go and tell the world that they need to listen to Hashtag with Navigozi Chiwanuka. I need your help. Because I can't do it on my own. Please share this podcast. Share this. Share? Really? Are you really going to share when I'm saying share? Okay. Excuse me. Share this podcast to your friends. Tell them, to your social media platforms as well. Tell them that I need them to be here. Feel free to also share your insights about what connected with you on social media, and be sure to tag us. We are at Hashtag with Navigozi Chiwanuka on Facebook and Instagram, and on Twitter our handle is at HTNK Podcast. HTNK is caps lock and podcast is in small case, but it is all one word. Also, we have an email. Reach us via htnkpodcast@gmail.com. HTNK is all small case for the email. Please don't confuse the two. The Twitter handle is HTNK Podcast and HTNK is caps lock. The word podcast is in small case, but for the email, HTNK Podcast is one word and it's all in small case. htnkpodcast@gmail.com is our email. Your reviews are welcome. I really look forward to hearing from you. Remember to own your purpose at all times. Catch you in the next episode. Ciao.